now because just looking at these team lists already, they're pretty interesting. Marcus has something that I haven't seen in quite a while, Marowak.
Actually, we had a Marowak last round, along with a Gyarados, actually, so maybe there's something to that pairing. We got a Hariyama instead of a Machamp, but they're kind of filling similar roles.
Yeah, for sure. It actually looks like we're just about to get started.
Ooh.
Oh. It looks like
Marcus had some sort of infraction earlier, removing his Aerodactyl.
Oh, that's really no good.
And that's a bit unfortunate for Marcus, but I'm sure he's still at 4-0, or sorry, 3-1 rather. So he's still been playing well.
For sure.
So I'm sure he has some way to pick up the slack from that missing slot.
One of the things that I really do like seeing that Marcus's team reminds me a lot of is a couple of regionals ago, Alex Underhill, a really, really great player, Lexicon VGC. He ran a Togedemaru Gyarados team that has that sort of similar feel. We saw a lot of Gyarados in the early metagame. We saw a lot of redirection, and a lot of Tapu Kokos don't run that spread electric move now.
Yeah.
Just due to Gyarados dropping off a ton.
Well, also, we've seen less Thunder Rods, so there's less need for
less
it.
Lightning Rod, yeah.
Or Lightning Rod, rather, yeah.
There's a lot less Lightning Rod, so there's a lot less need for it. Gyarados dropped off a ton in usage. And so I feel like we're sort of seeing a bit of a Gyarados renaissance. It'll be interesting to see how Zengo deals with this, just because of Gyarados' raw power, especially in the rain. Zengo's probably going to be setting up rain for his opponent.
Yeah.
And when Gyarados gets a Hydro Vortex, when Gyarados gets going under rain, it can do a ton of damage.
So Marcus could also just decide he doesn't want the rain and bring in his own Ninetales to stop that.
Yeah.
Despite that.
That's very true. It looks like Marcus is going to be leading Gyarados Hariyama, while Zengo is going to be leading Pelipper Tapu Koko.
I kind of like this. He brings out two Pokemon that just power up their own moves. Anything he brings in from now on is probably going to be boosted by one of them in some way. He just gets a lot of power right out of the bat. Just
due to the rain. One important thing that Zengo really has to be aware of, though, is that Marowak switching. If Marowak switches in on a predicted Thunderbolt or Thunder, whatever move Tapu Koko wants to use, Gyarados can set up a Dragon Dance, go for a Hydro Vortex. Those are the two moves it usually uses, and do some massive damage. So it can be a little bit scary here because getting the proper prediction is really important. Hariyama going to go for the fake out.
Hitting Tapu Koko pretty hard, stopping it from being able to pull off any moves. Whereas Marcus now going for the Groundium Z move with that Gyarados right off the bat. That is not something I expected to see on that Gyarados.
No, it looks like it's almost purely for that Tapu Koko. We've seen a ton of electric types do really, really well so far in this tournament. Having a Gyarados that can deal with that is really good.
That's one way to just not have your Gyarados answered by Koko. If you fake it out, it can't do anything, and then you just take it out.
Yeah, for sure. That Pelipper going to go for the Scald. No burn, though.
But Hariyama does get burned by, and completely unrelated by its Flame Orb.
Yes. Hariyama usually runs that Guts ability, boosting its attack when it's burned or has a status condition.
And we see Zengo bringing in the traditional second duck from Double Duck.
Yeah, Pelipper's a duck for those of you that don't know. But I like Golduck here. I think it brings a lot of pressure, and Pelipper's not under a massive threat, so it can go for something like a Tailwind. It can try and Scald that Gyarados to get to reduce some of that damage that Gyarados is doing. Gyarados is just such a powerful Pokemon.
Scald, despite being resisted in the rain, is going to do a decent amount of damage to Gyarados.
We already saw it did around 25, 30-ish%, which is pretty solid damage.
That's pretty respectable for a resisted move.
Pretty respect, and Gyarados has a decent special defense stat. Ninetale's going to come in though and set up Hail to prevent those. That Golduck from really powering up its moves, though, which is...
and Golduck going for an Encore into the switched-out Hariyama. not really being able to stop that fake out. Not really being able to cause that fake out to be repeated.
Ooh. Zengel with the Hurricane. Unfortunately, Hurricane is only 100% accurate in the rain. And now that Marcus has brought in that Ninetales, it really hurts Zengel's ability to just power through with some of that extra special attack.
Yeah, and he loses
from
a lot of consistency. He loses power and just accuracy.
Yeah, for sure. This is actually... Marcus has put himself in a great position. The Ninetales, I know a lot of Ninetales carry Freeze Dry. Freeze Dry can certainly
Freeze Dry is a very common move on Ninetales, just because it doesn't have that many options when you think about it.
Yeah, for sure. Other moves that Ninetales gets, Encore is a really good move. We saw that Golduck go for Encore, which is something that's a little bit... it's a little uncommon. But Kartana's going to switch in for Zengel.
And just to get the... Probably just to get the Pelipper out of there so it has a chance to come in later.
Yeah, you want to set back up that... I guess that speed for Golduck.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, it looks like Golduck wasn't touched at all.
No, Golduck was hit by the Gyarados'...
Oh, was it? Oh, I'm sorry. I completely missed that. Sorry, stream. That's my bad.
Yeah. Then +1 Gyarados showed that Waterfall does hurt when resisted. No rain.
Yeah, oh, for sure. That did a lot of damage. Golduck is not the greatest defensively. It's really only used as an offensive threat. But the Encore is a really interesting supporting move.
And, I mean, if he had Rain Up, that Dragon Dance from the Gyarados could have just stopped... The Encore could have just stopped the Gyarados flat because of the Dragon Dance.
For sure,
so,
for sure.
It's definitely going to be a threat continuing going forward. Because it can Encore these Protects, it can Encore the Fake Out, it can Encore the Dragon Dance. There's just a lot of options.
I feel like if Zengel actually uses his... ability, his Rain, and his Encore to correctly predict how Gyarados is going to move, he'll be able to really get the best of
and
Marcus.
Here's the Ninetales Blizzard.
It hit both in the rain. Wow.
Yeah, hit both despite the Pelipper switch in, taking out the Kartana, doing a good amount of damage to Pelipper. Going to be enough to take it out next turn if he's willing to risk that low accuracy when out of the tail.
Yeah, I honestly thought the Ninetales was going to go down. That ensured that Zengel would keep that rain up no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
At this turn, I feel like...
This also... Oh, this is pretty effective at doing so. To get this hail back up, Marcus has to switch out his Ninetales and then either get one of his Pokemon knocked out or switch it back in. This loses him a lot of tempo.
It does lose him a lot of tempo, but I feel like with the Hariyama fake-out pressure, he can guarantee get Ninetales out and back in. We already saw that it has the Freeze Dry. We already saw that it can do some really decent damage to these two Water-type Pokemon. So if it's able to switch out, and Hariyama can certainly aid in that with the fake-out, I feel like Marcus will put himself in a really good position to take Game 1.
Said Zengel can definitely put a lot of pressure. This is kind of his time. He's going to offer the pack. Marcus not switching out the Ninetales.
Really?
Fake out going into the Golduck, just trying to stop any Water Z moves or other powerful hits. Freeze Dry hitting the Pelipper, taking it out.
Yeah.
Putting Zengel down to his last Pokemon, I believe.
You know what? I mentioned earlier that the better play would be to switch Ninetales out. I was definitely wrong. I completely forgot that Ninetales had put too much pressure on that Pelipper, and it wasn't going to be able to get the tailwind.
But I mean, if Zengel could protect his Pelipper or something along those lines, though, could have been very different if he stalled that out.
Oh, and Zengel
forfeiting. To be fair, he is at a position where he has Golduck left as his only Pokemon against 3 of Marcus's, one being at basically full health.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think Marcus played that really, really well. The Blizzard hit in the rain was a bit of a surprise and pretty lucky for him, but I do think he played it quite well.
Zengel going for the same odds did miss the Hurricane, so...
Yeah, exactly. So I definitely think that Marcus played that very well. What I think I want to see from Zengel this time is really trying to hit that Encore into...
Yeah, just controlling his opponent a bit better.
Controlling his opponent. One thing that I really, really like that is a momentum gainer for... One thing that I really, really like that is a momentum gainer for a lot of rain teams is Volt Switch or U-turn. I don't know if Zengel's actually running Volt Switch on his Tapu Koko.
It is an option, though.
It is an option. Being able to really switch around frequently, not letting that Tapu Koko die to that Gyarados in the first turn with the Fake Out, can really start to put on pressure.
Well, I mean,
with
to be
rain.
fair, I'm sure that came as a complete surprise to him to see a ground EMZ.
I'm sure that is. Letting Gyarados set up is already scary enough as a Tapu Koko. Gyarados can, I believe it's Jolly Gyarados can outspeed Tapu Koko after single Dragon Dance. I'm sure that's right.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Tapu Koko can do Sky Drop shenanigans with Gyarados.
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Oh, but Marcus leading completely differently.
I think in Marcus's mind, he says, I already got my Gyarados gimmick off. I kind of don't want to test that again.
Yeah.
And I think he just doesn't think Zengel's going to fall for the same thing twice.
Well, in this case, the Marowak is under a ton of pressure. Those two Water-type Pokemon, even with the Fake Out from Hariyama, two Water-type Pokemon together are just putting on a ton of pressure, and whatever switches in is probably going to be taking a decent amount of damage.
But here he brings in the Gyarados again. I guess seeing that Zengel opted not to bring the Tapu Koko right away, deciding that Gyarados is pretty safe on this comparatively.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like the Golduck is going to go for the Water Z. Let's see who he targets down. I
can't see a Water Z move going into the Marowak slot. That seems a bit overkill. So
yeah.
I expect this to be into the Hariyama.
I do too. But we'll have to see. It looks like,
it is into the Hariyama.
For sure.
Fake Out hitting the Pelipper, stopping potential Tailwinds or other setups, but Hariyama is going to go down for that Fake Out.
That is massive damage.
Yeah.
As I've said before, Rain Boosted Hydro Vortex is incredibly powerful coming from Golduck.
I don't think Marcus is happy with that trade of stopping any Tailwinds.
I definitely think it's a decent trade. You bring in the Tapu Koko now, and you really threaten that Pelipper to not go for Tailwind. If Zengel wants to target down that Tapu Koko, he's sort of conceding that Gyarados is going to get a Dragon Dance. You're saying you're either going to target my Tapu Koko, or I'm going to get my own Dragon Dance off. And once I get my Dragon Dance off, you have to respect it. Yep. You have to respect Dragon Dance Gyarados.
That's pretty fair. And we'll see if Marcus goes for that kind of line of setting up a Dragon Dance. He does opt to protect his Tapu Koko. I guess not liking the now faster Golduck in the rain.
So the Hydro Pump going to hit the Tapu Koko, right? And then Gyarados, it looks
now
like
going for the Ground EMZ move again. Gonna hit for Golduck as hard as it can, I suppose.
Yeah, so I know I said I might go for a Dragon Dance or something. It looks like Marcus, in his case, he just wants to go for a ton of damage.
Yeah. I mean, that's respectable. I don't know the damage range on this, but it's got to be close to a knockout.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow.
Or it gets a critical hit.
Yep. So
I'm not sure what the roll is on that. It's got to be close if it's not guaranteed a knockout.
I feel like it's going to be pretty high.
Yeah.
But that was taking out one of the biggest threats of the game.
I didn't actually see what move Pelipper went for there, but that was...
It went for Tailwind.
Oh,
so
it did get the
right
Tailwind.
now, Zengel's got the extra speed.
So Zengel taking that, at least getting something out of that exchange.
So one thing that's a little bit interesting here is we know that Marcus has that Marowak in the back. We saw it switch in and then switch out, right, for the Gyarados.
So it can protect the Gyarados, or even the Tapu Koko from just a strong electric move.
Yeah, for sure. Marowak has that Lightning Rod ability, so it's going to redirect all electric type attacks towards itself. If Zengel doesn't have Discharge, which is a spread electric move,
not very common these days.
Not very common these days, especially without the, especially with less Gyarados running around. Oh, so we are going to see the Marowak switch in, and I think that was
Zengel also made kind of a raid, and sent in his Cortana.
This gets a Scald. Oh, off on Marowak.
Oh,
that's
boy.
Gonna be
That's
big.
a lot of damage. Marowak goes down.
Even if Marcus goes for the Dragon Dance, he's going to go for the Waterfall.
Into the Cortana slot, that's going to be able to take that.
For sure. Even if he went for a Dragon Dance, the Kartana and Pelipper are under Tailwind, so they definitely outspeed this coming turn.
And that looked like a very good turn for Zengel.
Yeah. He really controlled this game just so well. He set up his Tailwind. He got that really early KO on Hariyama, which was giving him a lot of trouble last round, where it kept giving these fake outs, bringing in the Nine Tails, resetting the rain. And so...
Ooh. But Zengel opts to go for an attack into the Gyarados and Scald into the Tapu Koko, which doesn't quite do enough. Tapu Koko now gets to get the Thunderbolt off on the Kartana. Also not quite enough damage.
Ooh, but
getting a paralysis, though. Going to make this Kartana slower than both of his Pokemon, but taking itself down from the Life Orb, leaving Marcus only with the Gyarados.
Now that paralyze is huge. If Marcus can manage to KO that Kartana is the main threat to him right now.
I mean, so right now his options that we've seen are the Waterfall and the Earthquake.
He can Dragon Dance. We've seen him Dragon Dance too.
Both of these should be able to take out the Kartana. But it's a matter of how much he takes off this Hurricane also.
Oh, wow. That did
That's a lot of damage off a crit.
Critical.
And the confusion.
That's going to be big.
That's big.
Oh, and in Tailwind, I wasn't actually expecting this. Kartana was able to
also
outspeed.
Getting very unnecessary crit. Yeah. I'm a bit surprised on that. That must not be that fast. That seems a bit odd because Kartana going faster than Gyarados despite a quarter speed.
No. The Gen 7 mechanics changed
you're
it.
Correct.
It's now half speed.
You're correct. Oh,
it's now half speed.
Yeah, that would make sense then. It is faster then.
So we could, if you double the speed in Tailwind,
and then it's back to normal, which is still faster than Gyarados. Makes sense.
I was hoping to see maybe a Protect, maybe try and read with a Dragon Dance.
Yep.
A couple of really crazy plays there, here and there. Marcus might have been able to pull it out. But
Zengel just shows the power of his team, hits really hard. For sure. Gets some crits and luck, but he still had a Pokemon in the back. So he was in a very good spot.
Yeah, honestly, we've seen this swing two ways now. They both played quite well. First game, I thought Marcus took it very handily. Zengel took the second game very handily, and I was sort of expecting, maybe this would be a little more of a one-sided matchup. Marcus can always reset that rain with the Ninetales, but I was really surprised to not see him bring it, and also to see Zengel really commandingly take game two. So, in terms of, if you're Marcus, if I were him, I feel like I would be bringing that Ninetales, because that's what worked game one, right?
I'm surprised he didn't bring Ninetales, to be perfectly honest.
I feel like it actually, in my personal opinion, I don't think Ninetales hits hard enough for this metagame. I just don't think it's... I often find it wasting turns.
This is also basically the perfect matchup for Ninetales, you could argue. The Freeze Dry hits both Golduck and Pelipper very hard, and it gets rid of the rain as well that Zengel's team just loves. So if you don't bring Ninetales in this matchup, when are you using it?
I do really like Ninetales in this matchup, is what I was going to say, because, it hits everything on Zengel's team for super effective damage or neutral. The only thing you really have to worry about is that Kartana coming in and possibly or speed
I believe they speed tie. I believe that
speed
is
tying you, or maybe the Pheromosa coming in. And the Tapu Koko, but you can really do a lot of damage with Ninetales.
Yep.
Unfortunately...
Yeah, leading it is a bit confusing because Pelipper is a slower Pokemon. It does get the rain instead of Ninetales Hail.
Yeah.
So, I feel like Marcus might have over-predicted Zengel trying to go for an extra level, thinking he wouldn't lead with the Pelipper or something along those lines. And he might get punished this turn for it.
Yeah. For me, when I'm looking at something like...
and here we see the Water Z move coming out again for Zengel after a fake out into the swapped Pelipper. And what do you think this is going to go for? I think it has the option to one-tip both of these right now, though.
I want to say the Ninetales just because it's so much more of a threat to Zengel's team. Oh, he's going for the Hariyama.
Straight for the Hariyama again, and we saw this one hit it last game. So that's probably all she wrote for this Hariyama.
Yeah.
And now we get to see the first move out of this Ninetales. See if it has enough of an impact. Going for the freeze dry into the Pelipper slot, not going to do that much.
Oh, and the freeze!
But he does get a freeze.
Oh, the freeze!
Which is probably Marcus's only way to get back into this game, to be honest. So.
Oh, this is rough.
That is very unlucky for Zengel, but basically the break Marcus needed to probably get back after that awkward lead scenario.
Yeah, for sure. In my mind, whenever you're playing Weather Wars, if you lead with a faster weather, like as Marcus has done with the Ninetales, you're really just inviting that Pelipper to freely switch in and just put a lot of work in by overriding your weather. Ninetales doesn't do a ton outside of Hail beyond click freeze dry. It can't set up its Aurora Veil, which it often carries. It can't hit Blizzard either. Ooh, and a miss. Oh, that's going to be rough. Yeah, miss on the Hydro Pump.
And a freeze dry into the Golduck, not actually going to be enough to take it out. Kartana staying frozen solid. Kind of makes sense. Gyarados just setting up a Dragon Dance because it has the time.
Oh, yeah, this is...
And this is quickly swinging Marcus's way, despite a lead that I thought was a bit unorthodox and could be basically giving away the game.
Yeah, once Gyarados gets going in rain, it's going to be very tough to stop. I'm looking at Zengel's team. He could possibly try and play around it with this Kartana if it wasn't frozen, or maybe the Tapu Koko, but the Tapu Koko...
it could be his last Pokemon. We haven't seen the last one.
But you know what he could also do? He does have the Encore on the Golduck.
Oh. And in the rain, I'm pretty sure Golduck, it will be faster than the Gyarados.
It will be faster. Oh,
no,
Golduck going for the Protect. Let's see what the...
So I guess it is worth noting, if he did Encore the Golduck... Oh, no, the Golduck... the Gyarados, it does have the option to Z-move through the...
That's true. That's very true.
Through the Encore. So Marcus seems pretty aware of this and will just deciding to play around it anyway.
It's really interesting to see how players play around Encore. Encore is a very threatening move and can really change momentum in a single moment's notice. But it is a bit more situational, right?
Yeah. But Marcus didn't seem to respect it at all there, to be perfectly honest. He just went for an Earthquake.
Well, that's true. I think maybe the thought process was Golduck needs to protect itself because Zengel thought Marcus was going to try and KO the Golduck as it encored.
Right.
Marcus just said, forget it, I'm going to Earthquake.
Well, it worked out for him. He made the right call. Got some free damage against that Kartana and used up the Protect off the Golduck.
Gyarados going for the Waterfall, going to take out that Kartana.
Possibly actually helping Zengel, though, if you think about it, because he now gets to actually use two Pokemon.
Yeah, but it's a very rough spot. That Gyarados. Oh, another
freeze off the freeze dry into the Pelipper.
Oh man,
Marcus at 1 HP
Marcus
through
looking
the Focus
just
Dash.
like
Marcus looking like he doesn't actually want to win this way.
It's like
probably happy about the win, but definitely an awkward way to win when you're just riding off freezes.
Yeah, for sure. Like you feel bad for your opponent when you just hit them with so much hacks, right? You freeze them, you crit them.
Also, this is the last turn of rain, so Marcus can just double protect and stop the Golduck from being super fast anymore.
That's true, but Zengel noticing this for sure. Not going to let that happen. Going to switch out that Pelipper to bring it back in probably and ensure that rain stays up.
Golduck going for a Hydro Pump into Ninetales, not quite bringing it down.
Waterfall from Gyarados in the rain. That's going
to take it out. After a +1, I don't see any way your Tapu Koko surviving.
And there's the freeze dry onto the Golduck,
leaving Zengel with only a frozen 1 HP Pelipper. Probably ending the series. I don't see a way you can come back with a frozen Pokemon.
That is the +1 Gyarados, along with the 1 HP frozen Pelipper.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's going to do it.
Yeah. That's an unfortunate match for Zengel, but Marcus is going to be happy that he's now at 4-1.
Yeah.
At basically the 2/3 way through the tournament.
Yeah. Hanging on in your tournament life. staying X and 1 in tournament is usually where you want to be. X and 1 or better, so good job to Marcus. If he keeps winning, hopefully we'll see him in top cut. So if you were Zengel, how do you think you would have played that last game? I know it's difficult with the freeze.
It's pretty hard because like I don't really have any major complaints about what he did. The only thing is I would have gone for the Encore. That's the only play that I wasn't super happy with.
Yeah, for sure.
That. Otherwise, because even if he Z moves into the Golduck, he still has to Dragon Dance the turn after that.
Yeah.
So it does it basically limits the Gyarados to a one kill beast.
Yeah.
And I think that's worth it when you're in Zengel's position. And you kind of have to ignore the fact, you have to just realize, yes, your Kartana got frozen. You still have to play it through and kind of try your best. And your out seems to be disabling the Gyarados.
Yeah,
and
sure.
I don't see another option there.
And
but otherwise, I think he played it properly, but he just got unlucky.
For sure. I definitely agree with you. One thing we talk about is, you're out here, you're competing, and it's hard to experience that hacks, that RNG. When because you never want it to happen to yourself, and I guess you don't want it to happen to your opponent because it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, so you do like the win that you get off it, but it does feel bad. It doesn't feel like you actually won off your own play. Ideally, when you're playing these things, you want all of your wins to basically be, hey, I did great at this event because I played my matches perfectly.
That being said, we can't discredit either of them. They both played well.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Marcus, I think, had just put on more pressure, especially with that Ninetales.
Yep, and he definitely took everything that the game gave to him.
Yeah,
and just
for sure.
rolled with it.
The freeze dries, just consistently hitting them all into the water types, into that Kartana, just ensuring that nothing would really come in. I guess he was getting a lot of good, consistent damage off. Yeah. And that's what I think we like to see here. We want to see sometimes big damage to try and put a lot of pressure on someone, but consistent damage that people don't really recognize as building up. I think that's also a really critical part of the game.
It definitely wins games if your health bars keep going down.
And for sure, if it's something that's a little harder to manage. It's a little harder to immediately see, 3 or 4 turns from now, this Pokemon's going to go down due to the freeze dry. It takes a little bit more effort,
of course,
just to get off that consistent damage. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it means that your opponent might not be keeping track of it as well either.
Right. Yeah, but looking ahead in the game is definitely something that better players just do over time.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So we're going to have an interview with Marcus coming up. We'll be right back, and see you guys later. Back with Marcus Boston.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your win. That was great. I know it came down to a little bit of a freezing there at the end.
Yeah, the freeze saved my life at that very
yeah, for sure. But you played really well, game 1 and game 2.
Yeah.
I sort of wanted to talk to you about Marowak, right? So you're running Marowak, Gyarados. It's something we haven't seen a lot of since the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
What was sort of your reasoning for running those two at this point in the game?
So going into today, I had a team that I wanted to bring that ran Trick Room and Tailwind.
Mm-hmm.
But throughout the week, I didn't feel as comfortable with it.
Yeah.
But I had this team in the back, and I was like, you know what? I feel the most comfortable with this, so I might as well bring it. And regardless, Marowak's been probably one of the biggest MVPs. You didn't see it this game, but
yeah. For sure. Mm-hmm. The other Pokemon I wanted to talk a little bit about. We have a couple of Pokemon I want to talk about. Firstly, let's talk about that Ninetales.
Okay.
Ninetales, not totally known for its bulk, but something that I noticed you were getting a lot of in your 2 winning games. You were getting a lot of consistent damage off with Freeze Dry.
Yeah.
And I feel like that required a lot of knowing when Zengel would switch and what sort of reads he would make. How did you feel about playing that sort of Ninetales style?
Well, the whole thing is, because he has the Pelipper, so whenever he would rotate it back, I kind of have to go for the freeze dry.
Yeah.
Other than one move, I think I went for the Blizzard, and it worked out rather well, and I was happy about that. But like, freeze dry is overall the safest bet, and with the Kartana, like, I didn't know it was Assault Vest in the beginning, but I was like, you know what, might as well go for it. Does more damage, and it worked out.
Yeah, for sure. I did really like that you just kept getting consistent damage, and I feel like that's a little bit harder for opponents to manage than just one big bulk attack where they know they're gonna they know they have to avoid that Z move or something. Speaking of Z moves, can we talk about that Gyarados?
Go for it.
All right. Gronium Z Gyarados. Quite the shock on stream. Sean and I were blown back a little bit by it.
Why what happened?
Why? You know, how'd that come about?
So I originally on this team had a Crocodile with the Ground DMZ. And it was working all right, not too bad. But the problem was I would face rain teams and I'd face a bunch of Tapus, and it's just like those two put together. Crocodile's not bad, but it would require me to outplay them that much more. So I was like, okay, I need a water resist first of all, because I don't have one at all. So Gyarados was the natural pick because I needed an Intimidator as well. And I started off with the Waterium Z. I was like, it's okay, it's not bad. Like, it chunks for a good amount, but then when I'm facing like the water teams that I was having troubles with, and even like things when people are running like Tapu Lele, Metagross, it's like, I rather like Ground DMZ is probably one of, in my opinion, the best things to come in this generation. Like, you probably need to have it, or some sort of ground type that can deal tons of damage. And then was like, it worked, and you saw it this game. Like, the Tapu Koko was gone first move.
First turn. We were really surprised by that. It was really incredible. I also know. You're just telling me earlier, your first event, so if there's anyone you want to give a shout out to, or...
I have to probably give big thanks to Cybertron VGC and Pokeaim. Those two have like helped me for so long, actually like getting into the scene and learning so much about Pokemon that, you know, like I wouldn't be here without them.
Yeah, for sure. They are excellent. If you guys haven't seen Cybertron or Pokeaim, go check them out on YouTube. They're great for learning the game. They're great for learning these resources. And congratulations, man. You're doing great in this tournament, especially for your first time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So congratulations, man.
Yeah, thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a break, and we'll be back with round 6 coming up.